ago. I kept hearing her name. And a very good friend of mine named Charleston Gaines introduced me to her, and she has changed my business. She is the founder of Growth Academy. She's an inbound marketing strategist. She's a creator and community builder. She has almost 1.2 million followers on LinkedIn. She helps people grow on LinkedIn, and she has forever changed my business in just a short time. I've been invited to speak all across the world, in India. I have clients. I can't even keep up with my DMs. And it's all because of this beautiful woman that we see here below. So she has, like I said, she's the founder of Growth Academy. She's a mama bear. She also is bilingual in English and Spanish, and she is a stage 4 cancer survivor. So can we all come off mics and welcome Shanae to Breakfast with Champions?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Tara?
What's up? Welcome. So now that we got that all the way, I want to back up just a little bit, and I want you to share with our audience and the incredible hosts that we have here on stage. I want them to have an opportunity to get to know you at a deeper level like I have. So let's go back, and I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, some history, where you were born, and how Growth Academy actually was birthed.
Oh, wow. That's a simple question. No, I'm just kidding. Where do I start? So, a little bit about me, born in Fort Lauderdale. I'm a cancer survivor, so spent a lot of my early childhood in and out of hospitals. And then how Growth Academy started, it really started about 2 years before it actually started. So in 2018, I was given an ultimatum by my boss because my child was in the hospital. And then that ultimatum led me to become a freelance writer. And then that led me to launch an agency. But when the pandemic hit, a lot of the people that were paying, heavy retainers for the agency wanted something more personalized. So they couldn't pay $5,000, $10,000 a month, right? So they're like, do you have a course? Do you have this? Do you have this? And so Growth Academy really was created out of demand to serve them. Because I just got bombarded with requests when the pandemic hit because people wanted to save their business.
That's amazing. So I have learned so much from you, but especially I think I really want to focus on because I think a lot of people, they do the spray and pray, right? They go out there and they're trying to find their niche. I love Barbara's niche. Her niche is people. I love that. But without reaching your who, right? The people that you can serve. I think all of us on stage know that business is hard. Like it's really, really hard. So what do you mean by reaching your who? How do you do that through LinkedIn?
I think that it begins with number one, understanding who you're trying to reach and who your ideal customer is, and how you could help them. So understanding like LinkedIn's primary goal is to become a platform where people share what they know. And I think over 1 billion years of experience based on everyone that's compiled on LinkedIn. So they want to expedite learning. Like how can people's experiences help other people to get what they want, right? And so when you understand the goal of the platform, you just start to share, and understanding who you serve, you start to understand, okay, what can I create to help them with whatever problems they have? What happened to me that has probably happened to them or is probably already happening to them or will happen to them? How can I help them get from point A to point B? Like it's all about starting with who. And that's what I feel people don't understand about personal brand. They think it's about them. You're only leveraging your story to tap into other people and empower them and build that relevance.
Yeah, I love that. So I learned from you. I think I joined LinkedIn in 2008, and then I disappeared and I never went back. And I realized what a mistake that was, because 3% of the people on LinkedIn actually post original content. And that's something huge, because now you have this blue ocean that you call it, right? Yeah. What is it? 4 to 5 people on LinkedIn are actually leaders and decision makers. So I think it's one of the greatest tools to reach more people, right?
Yeah, and not just reach more people, reach people that can afford high ticket and that are willing to invest in themselves for high ticket. And that's why I got on LinkedIn. It just made sense. Why would I go onto a platform that has more competition and where the people don't make as much overall? So on LinkedIn, the average user has double the buying power, and they're just more naturally, they're there to network. They're there to do business. So it just made sense. There's less competition and there's like a higher quality audience that can see your content.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned that over the last, especially couple months working alongside with you, and I see a lot of people here on stage that have worked with you. So how do you get more clients come to you on LinkedIn instead of searching for them? Because I know that you went and did a lot of research and looked up people like Tony Robbins and Oprah, and even Grant Cardone. I've seen you interview him. And so what do they all have in common? Like, what do you need to focus on to get people to come to you rather than you chase them on LinkedIn?
I think with LinkedIn, where people get it wrong is that they take longer to trust you, right? Like when they reach out, they're going to be quicker to buy. The buyer's not going to reach out and think about it 9 out of 10 times. They're only going to reach out when they're ready, but they're not going to reach out if you don't earn their trust. So like allowing them to see what's happening in your business. Like if you could answer this question, what do you do for your customer that your competitors don't? Right? How are you different? How are you better? How do you deal with an angry customer? When do you fire a customer? So just allowing them to learn the values that you have in your business indirectly through sharing some of those experiences and times allow people to kind of understand what you do and who you are without you getting in front of a camera and being like, yeah, this is what I sell. Come buy my stuff. That's not the approach you should have on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I look at your content all the time. I've noticed that you get a lot of attention because you do consistently post incredible content, right? Which it's that consistency that Barbara was talking about that builds that trust. And then through that trust comes the sales. I can't stand sitting on platforms and watching people pitch all the time. I don't think they understand what they're doing. They're actually just burying themselves. And so I love how you've navigated LinkedIn. And so how did you build the trust with all of these people? To be at almost 1.2 million is a lot of work and a lot of consistency. How did you do that?
It wasn't my goal, right? It kind of happened by accident. I just wanted to get clients at first. Like I got on LinkedIn, I was, I had no option. My back was against the wall. I had 1 month to get clients or else I was going to have to go find another job. And I didn't want that because then my daughter would have to spend the whole day in daycare. It's like, when you're a working mom, daycare is $1,000. You're just working for daycare and some diapers and food, right? And it's like, it's ridiculous. So I originally got on LinkedIn to get clients. And then, I did that through outbound. So I got my first clients through just DMing people. And I realized how hard that was and how tedious it was and how it would be like pulling teeth to get people onto a consultation. So then I started to look around and be like, why is it so much easier? Why is it effortless for other people? And I realized that the main thing was content. So in December of 2018, I started creating content. And it was just a game changer. Within 60 days, I went from 100% outbound to 100% inbound business. And then my first year, I think I grew like 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. But my second year, I grew to 500,000. And so it was really just about consistency and reaching a tipping point.
Amazing. And so now I hear this all the time. It's the struggle is what kind of content do we put out there? And I think a lot for me and, working with me, that a lot of it has been a little bit of trial and error. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So what kind of tips do you have for anybody here in the Garden of Excellence or on stage that is having a super hard time producing content, especially on video? Because I know you're huge about video.
Yeah.
So talk to them about the consistency of that and how to do that. Is there a strategy to that? And why is video more important than just a static post?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they get on LinkedIn is that they don't post video, because there's a kind of, if you're looking at vanity metrics, you're going to lean more towards text posts, images, polls, they get more views. But when we actually look at the data and when inbound leads come, they usually say, oh, I saw that video. I saw that live. I saw, it's always the video is the accelerant of trust. And it proves, number one, that you're a real person, that you're not going to catfish them. And there's a lot of things that people can learn through a video, even just subconsciously, how you look at the camera, how you interact with someone else. Do you look nervous? Do you look like you actually know what you're talking about? Do you look genuine, or do you look like you're lying? There's just a lot, right? So that just accelerates trust. And then the second question, what can you start to post? I would just, if you're not posting, I would get on LinkedIn and I would just honestly share why you haven't taken LinkedIn seriously. I would get on there and say, hey, I'm making a commitment to my network today that I'm going to start posting. To be honest, I've really underestimated the power of this platform when I shouldn't have, but I think that we could all learn from a mistake. And this won't be my first, this won't be my last. Are you posting on LinkedIn? Why haven't you started? And just starting that conversation. I think transparency is everything. If you are posting, but you maybe haven't posted video, then share your video and say why you haven't. Oh, I've been really nervous about what people will think about me. I know that I don't have a professional studio and I look at other people that do, and it just was really intimidating. Or, oh, the tech intimidates me, but guess what? I'm doing it. And that authenticity is what will win on LinkedIn, which is kind of counterintuitive because people want to show up there and be perfect for some reason.
Yeah, we've talked about this so much because I had a really hard time getting on video, that. And a lot of people who know me really well here on stage know that I do, because I had a stroke at 23. So I don't like being on camera, but it's this mindset that you've cultivated in me. And it's the showing up messy, unauthentic, and just being real that people are attracted to the most. And I've noticed that the more that I do that, the more that I get the messages, the more that I get the conversations that are happening. So I love that. Now, for anybody in the audience, and I've been there, done that, where it's got to look perfect. The background's got to be perfect. The camera's got to be perfect. I don't think it has to be. You just need to show up. It's the imperfect action, I think, that wins all the time. And I remember you showing us these videos from when you first started, which you've kept, and you have shown your journey all along the way. And I think that builds the authenticity, that builds the trust. So for anybody here who is nervous to start, what do you think the very first thing that they should do to help them get out of their way is, besides that, having that growth mentality? Because you talk about the growth mindset all the time.
Yeah, I would just, the first thing is I would look at what you're losing by not starting and understand that the opportunity may not be there forever. More and more people, like Gary Vee preaches about it every single day. I have more and more Gen Z people coming to me now than ever because of Gary Vee just preaching about LinkedIn. And so the opportunity to be one of the only 3% on a platform where 36% of millionaires are on, and where 4 out of 5 decision makers are on. And, it's not going to be there forever. So you're just missing out on a lot by waiting. And then number 2, do it with a friend. Just that accountability will increase your likelihood of success.
Perfect. I love that. So I did meet Shanae, guys, because she was running this incredible 21-day challenge, which I'm going to put the link up at the top. I don't know why I missed that, but I missed it. So can you tell everybody here in the audience more about your 21-day challenge? Because I kept hearing about it. I was like, I don't have time for this. And I'm so glad that I showed up and did it, because it has changed so much for me. So do you want to tell the audience what that looks like?
Yeah, so it looks like being held accountable to post on LinkedIn for 21 days. We meet daily at 11 for about 25 minutes. You get a structure of the prompt for that day. And then you also receive coaching on how to personalize it for your business. So if the prompt is, how do you deliver results faster in your business compared to competitors? then, you have to do some introspection, and then we can help guide you to how you format that post, right? So that's what it looks like every day for 21 days.
Amazing. So I did put the link up there. Sorry about that. I missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, they could go to the masterclass, and then, yeah.
Yeah, when is that run?
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Guys, if you are interested, I highly recommend that you take this challenge. Like I said earlier, I have almost tripled my connections on LinkedIn in just such a short time. I have made the most incredible connections. I've been offered jobs. I've been offered speaking engagements, and I never knew that it was there the entire time on LinkedIn. We are so busy running onto other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook, and it was LinkedIn the entire time. So let's talk a little bit about the growth, the QP times QP times QP. Let everybody know what that is and what that looks like and why it's important. I know you are all about strategy. I know you are the type of woman who likes to break down numbers. So if you have 65 sales calls, that's 20 new clients. The program is, say you're running a program for 2,000, that's 40K in a month off one single post. Why is that so valuable?
Well, I think like the goal it really depends on someone's goal for LinkedIn, right? Like starting there, because some people are already very successful. So some people come to LinkedIn and they're like, I want a more long-term play. Like I spoke to somebody yesterday who he just wants to drive a lot of traffic to his podcast because he already has a system to get clients for his business that doesn't depend on LinkedIn, right? And so I think like the first thing is understanding what is going to be the number one metric that determines success for your LinkedIn marketing. It could be podcast downloads, like in his situation. The second scenario could be maybe consultations. A lot of coaches do consultations. So it's not just the number of consultations, it's how many you're closing because of the quality of lead that's coming through. And so that's like, those are the things that we track. And that kind of separates us is we personalize that metric. So not everyone is getting measured by the same thing, because one person may be measured by the number and quality of consultations. The other person may not even do consultations, right? So it's a personalized metric, and then it's pushing that metric as much as possible. Like you should see your LinkedIn profile like a landing page and all the content driving it through. And then it's just like monthly check-ins for that metric as well. But it's hard to increase that metric without traffic. And again, like the chance and opportunity for organic reach is still there. I hope that answered kind of your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I learned through your QP, the quality of practice, the quality, of people and all of that, how important that is. And so what is, so when someone goes to, because I know I learned a lot from you. I didn't know that I had to change the banner. I didn't know that I should add in little things on my profile page. What are the most important things that people are looking for if they want to hire you or they're recruiting you? What are the most important things to have on your profile page?
Definitely where you want to drive them, right? So there's a link under your like face or your head on LinkedIn, and you could direct them to where you want them to go. So again, for some people that could just be a direct link to a podcast. For another person, that could be a masterclass. For another person, that could just be a consultation. And again, you want to be able to, on the other side, track those things. That's the first thing. The other thing is obviously a profile photo. Your profile photo does matter because when you comment and engage on other things, people will be more likely to click on a more professional profile photo and one where you're smiling. We've run a lot of these tests. One where you're smiling and you're facing forward into the camera versus, looking side to side like you're a statue or something. The other thing I'd say is something in your featured section. So you could have case studies or testimonials in your featured section. You could have like a newsletter or press stuff, interviews that you've had on other podcasts, something to increase your authority and, clarify a little bit more on how you could help them in your featured section. And then they're just going to look at your content and see if they resonate with it. Also, events. Events are a huge thing. You could run live video or audio events now on LinkedIn. As you know, I do my audio events over there now, Tara.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So that was something that I was new to. And I love, if you guys are on LinkedIn, go find Shanae and join her, because she puts out these amazing audio rooms. They're short, they're not long, but the conversations are incredible. And because she has such a great following, when you get up in that room and you share, well, then so does everybody else below listening to the audio. Now, the audio rooms, right, Shanae, you can't record unless you go to Amazon and you buy that cute little gadget that you have. But the LinkedIn live ones are great as well. Those ones record, the audios don't, correct?
Yeah. So the live videos on LinkedIn will stay on your profile. People can watch the replay, but the live audio rooms, they don't store the recordings like Clubhouse. You can record them though, with like a pod track.
That's it, PodTrack 4. So I see Crystal here, and Crystal, you've been in some of those audio rooms. I'd love for you to share how valuable it's been to you and why LinkedIn is the land to be.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I wanted to jump in and just give a little testimonial about Shanae. She's come into the $1 Million Mom Club community, which is our private membership community we've taken off this app, and we've gotten incredible feedback from the women in our community that Shanae has actually been the favorite masterclass host, and they just got so much value from the LinkedIn masterclass that Shanae did in our community. She did a 2-part masterclass on LinkedIn, and I have to give like huge flowers to Shanae because she offered up to the $1 Million Mom Club members the 21-day challenge as a free opportunity that she offered to our members, and it was definitely changed the game for the ladies in our community, changed the game for myself. I recently just jumped on LinkedIn for the first time and started posting using, Shanae's feedback and strategies. And oh my goodness, I've just been, I'm slowly getting there. I'm slowly building my network and my community over on LinkedIn. And I just see so many opportunities coming my way. I've been asked to speak on podcasts from people I would have never met had I not got on LinkedIn. So the audio rooms. Okay, so Tara, you're throwing out my trick there. So that is the number one growth opportunity on LinkedIn right now. To be honest, I follow Shanae into her LinkedIn audio rooms. They're amazing conversations filled with incredible individuals. I've networked and met so many new contacts and made so many incredible connections on LinkedIn simply from Shanae's audio room. So if you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not on LinkedIn, or if you are and you haven't been active, give Shanae a follow. Consider tapping into her 21-day program, because it definitely has been life-changing. And I know there's other $1 Million Mom Club members here who could attest to that.
What's cool about, I don't know the updates with Clubhouse. I haven't really spent that much time here in a while, but what's cool with the audio rooms on LinkedIn is that you get a Rolodex of everyone that was in the room. So let's say there's like 900 people that come through a room, right? That list is saved. And let's say that room name is how to manage stress as an entrepreneur. Now I could send a resource to those 900 people based on the relevance of the room title. And so that's saved for every single room. And that's how you build email lists. So if you're like a coach or just a business owner that's neglected building an email list, LinkedIn, even if you're a beginner, I have clients that are adding like 50 people a day to their email list just through DMs on LinkedIn. But, you've got to send them something that they want.
Oh my God, I love that. So that right there, Shanae, we don't have that on any other platform. There's currently, I think the last time I checked, there was 690 million people using LinkedIn, guys. I love Clubhouse. I do. But if Clubhouse doesn't stay around forever, you have to have something that's going to work for you. And I've spent a lot of time on Instagram. And to be honest with you guys, pandemic, I was on stages. Like, I was never on social media. Social media was new to me. And so I had to learn real quick how to make content and to get on Instagram. And I grew my Instagram, but I always knew it was not my platform. And then I met Shanae and I went over to LinkedIn and I'm like, 690 million people using this platform. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I love it. Because these audio rooms that you're talking about, I love that it collects the list, but you also have this incredible opportunity, guys, to position yourself as a professional. You know, like with all social networking platforms, you have this amazing customizable profile and you can use it to portray yourself as this strong leader, this strong professional, and to display your relevant experience. And those are the people that you're looking for, you know, and then it's just this incredible opportunity to network. And that's what it's been for me. So Crystal, I absolutely agree. Like, it's been amazing. And then the job opportunities that I did not see coming, and just opportunities to speak, opportunities to collab with other people. And so I'm super, super grateful that I listened when the world was whispering and I kept hearing Shanae Murray, because I went and did my homework. I went and looked you up. I went and saw all of your history. You're a writer. I did not know that before. Well, which makes perfect sense why in your cohorts you have these incredible strategies and prompts every single day. But so for anybody here who's sitting on the fence, if you have a question, please come to stage. This is an open stage. I love just fluid conversation. So unmic, say your name. If you have any questions for Shanae, please share. And if anybody else wants to connect with her, you can tap that link at the top. So Shanae, what is next for 2023 for you? What do you have in your sight?
A book.
Ooh, a book. So tell us more.
I don't know. I can't say anything more, but a book. I'll just say that.
A book. Now you're going to make me wonder all day, and then I'm going to send you messages all day. Let me know more. I love that. So, okay, for example, do you have any more cohorts that are coming or more programs? Because that's really where the growth is at.
Of course.
Okay.
The next one starts in January. So it'll be the first Monday. It'll start in January. But I want to answer questions, Tara. Who has a question?
All right. Anybody have a question? You can unmic, sweetheart. I did bring someone to the stage. Oh, I heard somebody.
I think Diane. Diane?
Hey. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for sharing all your knowledge. I have a question. How much is too much in terms of posting on LinkedIn? You know, you look at Grant Cardone, and he throws a lot of content daily at the wall, and it seems to work for him. And then there's a lot of people, especially in my industry, titans in the industry, that are constantly posting. And then you have the people that think, oh, you should only post once every 3 days on your corporate page and you'll get more likes that way. So I don't know. What is there? Does it vary by person and situation, or is there a rule of thumb?
Are you posting now, like consistently?
Oh, yeah. Yes, and I'm a big believer in video.
Okay. So if the way that I kind of tell people to start and just compound, so try with one video a day for 30 days. And then after 30 days of consistency, add a second post around 4 to 5 hours after that. The post should be a different medium, probably text or image. And then after that set, add a third post. So if I look at my data every day for the last 3 years, I've posted around 3 times a day.
Okay. And then
but it's not just about, it's not just about quantity. It's also like just getting in the habit of looking at the data and the analytics and doubling down on what's working the best.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Shanae, I do have a question. Hi.
What's up?
Dr. Tangi. Hi. I am a part of the $1 Million Mom League Club, and
I know who you are. You DM me on LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, that's right. I did. And I've been a fan of yours for years because you're someone who would be in the audience, but you would just chill in the garden. And I've seen you. I'm like, she's just a powerhouse. There's something that's so, like, fierce about you, and I've always felt that, and you are just a fierce woman, and I just want you to know that. But I'm a part of the Million Mom League Club, and when I began posting on LinkedIn, because I didn't do it at all until you came into the club, and I have met with some incredible people. I had a guy who wants me to go alongside of him in the corporate offices for wellness. He said, I need a woman. I need like a powerhouse woman, female. And so we had an incredible meeting. And I also met with some others too. And it's because of you. So I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do. You're such an incredible example of someone who's consistent and who does it well and in excellence. And so I love that. Would you suggest, well, let me just double back. How would one really hone in to those that are, like, even for corporate wellness, the wellness community, like, is there a way you could just begin to connect with people that are in that space? Like, how do you find the people there on LinkedIn? And I know you said connections are better than following, and so I've been being strategic about that and sending some DMs. I hope that question is clear.
Yeah, so you want to connect with people that manage corporate wellness programs in companies?
Yes, that's been something that I was in that space for a while, getting and helping companies in the area of their corporate wellness. When I was in Oklahoma, I'm in Chicago now, the Chicagoland area, and I want to definitely get back into that because I have a corporate wellness program as well as a program for churches that I am actually working with some churches now getting that implemented. But yes, that's my passion. I want to work with more corporate offices, and I think that'll be a great strategy there on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I think that one of the easiest ways would be to do like a live event, because LinkedIn will obviously, like, if the title was the 10 benefits of launching a corporate wellness program or something like that. I don't know what the title would be, but they wouldn't join if they weren't interested. So even, right? Like, who would join that if they don't care? So, even if there's like 30 to 50 registrants for that live event, like, LinkedIn is going to push that out. So whenever anyone puts in like corporate wellness into the live event search for video or audio, your thing is going to come up. So what I do is give it like 2 to 3 weeks runway, and then just, promote that live event and invite people to your network. This is also the importance of connecting with the right people, right? Because as you're growing, connecting with the right people, you can only invite those connections to these live events directly. So you're doing it right. Just keep connecting with them and then pull them into that live event. And then close them there or lead them to a phone call.
Yeah, you know what? I love that feature.
Probably leading to a phone call because it's B2B, Tara, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, sorry, I got the red bar of death. I was just saying, I love that because LinkedIn lets you invite 1,000 connections per week, right? Correct, Sinead?
Yep.
So let's say only 100 of them accept them, right? And then 50 show up. That's 3 to 5 calls per live stream. So if you close one client out of those like 3 to 5 calls and your program is worth 5,000, that is 5,000 per week just because you use that LinkedIn live feature, guys. Like, It is phenomenal.
I have many, I have even clients that are, 64 years old that they just do one live a week, and they do it strategically for about 15 minutes. They've grown their networks, so they invite the 1,000. They get about, 40 people there live. And if they close a high ticket client on that live, that's, 12 to 15 to 25K off of that one live. But, and then they don't have to do content for the rest of the week, because then they could send that live and have it clipped into some shorter, So, but if you're just starting on LinkedIn, think of that long term. You want the right people in your network, because when you do these live events and when you get to the point where you want to leverage these 1,000 invites a week, you're not going to be able to invite your prospects if they're not in your network. And this is where content comes in, because they're not going to probably accept your invite, or the chances of them accepting your invite are going to be less than if your content is not earning their trust. Because people on LinkedIn could be pretty, it's like a public endorsement. They could be really stringent on who they're connecting with, because if they connect with you, it's basically endorsing you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how important, Shanae, is consistency in terms of lives and audio rooms? Like, say every Tuesday is your audio room and every whatever Thursday is your live. How important is that?
It's very important if that's what you want to do. Like if that's, your strategy, the consistency is key. When you go live on LinkedIn, don't compare it to live on Instagram. Think of it more like a talk show. Like you want to have the same day, the same time of the week, and you want it to be more structured versus hanging out with the community, because you can't hang out on LinkedIn live like you can on Instagram. You can't pull other people in there with the press of a button. You have to still use a third party platform. So it's more like people are watching you on a stage versus you hanging out with your community, eating chicken wings.
Absolutely. So I do see a question here. I know we only have 15, maybe 20 minutes with you because you have to bounce off to a Zoom. But Suzanne here said, what do I need to have ready to begin a LinkedIn account as an artist with a small business?
Nothing. Just, I think just like your profile photo and a little bit of information on your business and maybe some videos and images, or the willingness to do videos of your artwork.
Ooh, I love that.
I know an artist that's killing it on LinkedIn. She started showing her gallery, her process. Now she has a virtual art school, and she's like the only artist on there.
Wow. See, the power of video. I was thinking of, and I forget her name, Shanae. She was in our cohort for 21 days. Anne did a live and closed a $25,000 client within, I think her live was like 20 minutes or 25 minutes, like the power of video and showing what you're good at. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. Anybody else have any more questions before Shanae has to get out of here?
This is Shelley, and I do. So if I've got more than one brand, is it acceptable to create a new profile on LinkedIn? Or because I know everyone's saying niche down, but I have two sides of the same business, but I'm wondering if I should create another LinkedIn profile.
What's the two sides?
I have my real estate business, and then I have real estate industry services that I provide to licensed professionals.
Which one makes most of the money?
Say again?
Which one makes most of the money?
So, I walked right into this. So what is interesting is that my real estate business for some reason has turned on. I was ignoring it. Now I'm getting phone calls, and I've been able to produce very rewarding, inconsistent, but very rewarding days with my website business. So they're both running neck and neck right now. It looks like they're both going to give me the exact same amount of income.
Okay, so then it's just one of them needs to be attached to your personal profile, and then what I do is I just create a company page for the other one.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clean, simple.
Yeah, but, I try to make it plainer, like put the money one on the front,
I have a grant program that I'm going to be running, so that'll be the front one, and then the industry support will be the backside. But thank you.
There you go.
So much.
You're welcome.
Oh, I love it. Perfect. So what about polls, Shanae? Because I thought I love polls until I saw you. Why are polls such an awesome idea to utilize, and what do you pull from those polls?
Yeah, I think just understanding kind of why platforms even do stuff like this, like LinkedIn is pushing polls because they benefit also from the data, right? And from the voting. So if you could accelerate that and help them get more data, then you're kind of on the wave of what they want to accomplish. Number two, it's also just good to see where people are at and to ask kind of strategic questions to maybe get prospects to raise their hand in a way that's kind of indirect. So like I shared a scenario of what happened like at Live School, and then I said, little 5-year-old was going to get kicked out of school because he was being bullied. And he had been bullied for several weeks. And then finally he retaliated, but they want to kick the one being bullied out of the school, you know? And so I did an option, who should be kicked out of the school? The bully, the other one, neither of them, whatever. But my whole strategy with that question is just, I want the parents to raise their hand, right? And so all of the parents, like hundreds of comments in the chat, you know, just going at it as to why they wouldn't tolerate that for their children and stuff. So it's kind of like sparking conversation and asking questions where your prospects can raise their hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So what I've learned from you actually, and I love polls too, is especially hot topic polls. Like you had an amazing one on boundaries. You've had so many amazing ones. And I've learned from your strategy to take the ones that are most engaging and then turn them into the next day's static post. Or you talk about storytelling all the time. Why is storytelling so important? And how do you utilize your storytelling to funnel them into your programs or into being a client?
Everyone has this story, right? Like when we think of Tony Robbins or John Maxwell, it's always like their origin story that stands out. And time again, when people go through the program, it's 9 out of 10 times the viral post or the mini viral post that they have is always their story. So people want to know why you're so passionate about what it is that you do. And it builds that emotional stickiness to your personal brand, where now they understand why this is so important to you. And that is the ultimate differentiator. Like with Maria Malik, right? Maria, one of my students, shares her story. And beforehand, she's just one out of a zillion public speaking coaches. But she was actually forced into an arranged marriage, and she didn't speak up. Because of that, she went into the arranged marriage. Then only when she spoke up was she able to get a divorce and basically reinvent herself. And because she experienced what could happen when you don't speak up, she now dedicates her life to helping people, you know, speak up at work and speak up in general. So when people, you know, Tara, that story went viral. When people read that story, now she differentiates herself. She's not one out of a zillion public speaking coaches. She creates one out of one.
Yeah, her post, I think I messaged you about that one. I think I private messaged you about that one. It took off like wildfire, and it was so authentic. It was so raw. And then she just said, hey, who wants to learn how to actually speak up? And I cannot believe the amount of interaction in that post. I was like stuck on it. Like I kept checking it every 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it was just, it kept doubling and doubling and doubling. And it was just a real static post, a picture of her sitting outside. I think she has a coffee mug in her hand, but it was authentic, and it really drew into that emotional connection with people. So before we have to say goodbye, and because I have so many questions for you, I just want to quickly talk about newsletters, because this is a new arena for me, but I see like the value reading Gary V's and Grant Cardone's and all of that. What do you suggest in terms of building a really great newsletter? What does that look like? How often should you post, and should you not put in a newsletter?
Yeah, I actually underestimated newsletters, but they've been surprisingly effective. So LinkedIn now has converted, when you publish an article, it gives people in your network the opportunity to subscribe to future articles that you share. So they created a newsletter. LinkedIn will deliver that email guaranteed to every single subscriber every single time that you post an article. So for me, I currently have, I think, 231,000 subscribers on my newsletter. And every single person within the community, let's say that you have 2,000 followers, 20% of your network will immediately subscribe within 24 hours. Depending on how good it is, it will continue to get reshared. So your newsletter theoretically could grow even beyond your network size if it's good, if it continues to get reshared, because people can share it through the email, through social, or internally through LinkedIn. So that's number one. Number two, I'd start with one weekly newsletter, and I would lead it again to your private email list, because this should be a main priority for everyone with a business. So driving the newsletter to maybe a private masterclass, private Q&A, Zoom, to a download, if you have a monetized YouTube channel, maybe over there to get more views. Like there's a lot maybe to a podcast. So you could increase your podcast downloads and get a sponsor. Like a lot of my clients have different priorities, but depending on what that priority is, you just drive more people to that priority.
Yeah, and how often do you suggest you put them out? Because I see some people, they do them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Like
I would start with weekly and then move to twice a week after 90 days.
Perfect. And so one more question when it comes to that. What is the difference? Can you use, because I know you have a feature on LinkedIn where you can actually write articles, right? You have to be in creator mode to do that. Can you integrate your articles into your newsletter, or is a newsletter completely different and separate from the article?
It's different. So when you go into the article, you have the option to publish it independently of the newsletter or under the newsletter.
Aha. See, I'm learning. So I just created my newsletter, which I'm going to launch next Monday. So I'm excited. So before we say goodbye to you, I just want to talk about your Growth Academy because, like I said at the beginning of this segment, it has changed my business. And so I know you're really big on personalized strategy for every single person that joins. And so what does that look like other than the live profile audit? Maybe you can talk about that with them, because I think that's what really helped me gain like incredible amounts of clarity and refocus my message. Like my messaging was wrong. And so that really, really helped me. Tell them what's included in this 21-day video coaching in the cohort, and then with all the LinkedIn mastermind questions and answers.
Yeah. So if you join the group, we always begin with an audit. So we need to audit what that number one predictor of success is going to be. Like, what are we going to look at? Podcast downloads, website visits, masterclass registrations, whatever it is for you. And then what offer are you going to position? Because you should try to lead them to one offer. And also just what needs to be changed on your profile to attract that type of person on LinkedIn. And then we help you revamp it from the headline to the video script, you know, of the video playing behind your face on LinkedIn, the video cover story, to the about section, to the banner, everything. So that's the first thing. Once you're optimized, then you get the 21 days of content coaching every single day for 25 minutes. And then you also get 4 masterminds. So 4 weekly masterminds. It's high-level strategy teaching and then Q&A sessions. And then also there's people that don't want to do the group. If you want more personalized attention, I do take on some one-on-ones here and there. So just message me and I'll see how I can help you.
And guys, I'll let you know, for anybody who doesn't know her, she sounds sweet. She is sweet, don't get me wrong, but she is tough as nails. Like you need an accountability partner. She is your accountability partner. She makes sure to check in on you. She shows up. She actually has a Slack that everybody joins, and you put your links in there. It's a beautiful community that she has built. And so
Tara, tell them what happens if they're late.
And hold on, I was getting there. So she runs, this is why she has to leave, actually, because she runs a cohort every day at 11. It runs from 11 to about 11:30. It is incredible. But if you are not in there at 11, she locks you out. So she's tough as nails. She's like a little pit bull in a skirt. I love it. So anybody who's interested,
that's funny.
Yeah, well, it's truth. I encourage you guys, I believe that opportunities are never missed. The ones that you overlook, other people take. I want you to click on the link above, because I can tell you firsthand, and Crystal was here, and I know there's a lot of people that know Shanae very, very well. My business has grown. My network has changed. If you can hear it in my voice, I'm just so grateful and happy and blessed that I met this beautiful woman. And so I hope you all take this opportunity to click on that link and join her on Saturday. And then you can write me back in a month, in 2 months, and tell me how it has changed your life. So thank you so much, Shanae, for joining us. I appreciate your time. It was really hard to get you here, but I appreciate you saying yes to me, and I will see you shortly. If anybody has any questions, you have 3 minutes before she's out of here.
Tara, I do. This is Ella. You know that I adore you and I love everything that you do. So thank you for bringing Shanae. I've been following Shanae for a while, and I do have to confess, a lot of this is really like gobbledygook for me. It's pretty confusing. And so if there was one thing to distill into getting started on LinkedIn, what would that be? And I would love to join on Saturday, of course, as well.
If there's one thing, the most practical thing I could tell you to do is make a list of like 7 questions that your clients have recently asked you, and then post 1 video a day answering 1 question at a time.
Awesome. Thank you. That really helps, because one of my challenges is focus and sometimes getting overwhelmed when
I
there's
keep it
so
simple.
much information. So I love the simple gems and nuggets and tips. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I like to keep things simple. If we complicate them too much, then nothing happens.
Amen to that. I understand, Ellen. Thank you for your question and for joining. And I love you too, sweetheart. I was too, a little overwhelmed. I understand. With the gook, I get that. But Shanae really simplifies it. And it's just these little micro steps. It's the consistency of those micro steps that turn into the massive impact of success and fulfillment. That's what it really is for me.
I love it. Thank you, Tara.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you shortly.
Yes, I'll see everyone. Go to yougrow.club, and I'll see you on Saturday for those who are joining. God bless.